here with Vincent Goodwill, and it is now time for Say What? Last night, Jimmy Butler dropped 38 through just 3 quarters of play against his former team, the 76ers. After the game, Jimmy was asked about his night. Say what?
Jimmy, 38 and 3 quarters. Take us through that feeling tonight.
I felt great. I felt like Luka out there. You know, that's what he be doing.
That's right.
It's your guy, Nick.
You see what my large adult Slovenian son is already inspiring across the league. Jimmy Butler, who likes nobody. Oh, there it is. That's me and Luka growing up in the woods of Slovenia. You see him already inspiring. I mean, nobody likes Jimmy Butler. Doesn't like anybody, and even he looks at Luka with a little twinkle in his eye.
Jimmy likes people more than you think. He just probably don't like Ben Simmons, that's all.
Oh, okay, just that? Look at that. Us growing up together.
It's really nice that you keep sharing this with us. We really don't get a peek into your early
personal life.
days.
No. And he feels a little left out because I keep putting on those videos of me watching the Super Bowl. He couldn't watch with the rest of the family.
The short sleeve Sipowicz button down, that's my favorite.
Absolutely. Listen, man, there's not all your big fashion boutiques over in Slovenia.
No, and we're seeing that.
I don't know if you know that. Yeah, we have limited wardrobe options.
I didn't know it, but now I know it.
There you go.
Just from your photo album. Hey, Vince, you want to talk about the Houston Rockets?
Do we have to?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, it's either that or his Slovenian adult son.
Every time Vinny's on here and we talk Rockets, I get phone calls. Why did this doofus? You talk to this doofus. Go ahead.
True. All right, so the NBA trade deadline is this Thursday, and a recent report has Houston shopping Clint Capela to a number of Eastern Conference teams. So the Rockets center's averaging just under 14 and 14 this season, but he's missed the last 3 games with a heel injury. Nick, any chance this Rockets team can make a run?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely, they can make a run.
Where?
Now,
do they need help?
I'll explain in just a moment. By the way, the team that should be trying to trade for Clint Capela is the Clippers, to speak to the earlier conversation. But I think there's a reason that it's to an Eastern Conference team, because the Rockets absolutely believe, as they should, they are one of the contenders in the West, one of the teams trying to catch up with the Lakers. And, man, I was at the Rockets-Lakers game a few weeks ago, a game that Anthony Davis did not play in, and the Lakers still found a way to win. And my biggest takeaway from that game, more than anything else, was, man, P.J. Tucker continues to be wildly underrated. P.J. Tucker, until he left the game briefly with a slight injury and momentum changed a bit, he was giving LeBron the blues more than any perimeter defender that I can remember in years. And when we talk about the best non-rim protecting defenders in the league, P.J. Tucker has to be at or at the very least near the very top of that list. Why do I bring him up? Because if you've got a guy who can hamper the other team's superstar, and if you can get James Harden from December combined with Russell Westbrook from January, as opposed to vice versa, that's a terrifying team. Now, do I think, are they my favorite? Are they the favorite? Are they my pick? No. But going into the year, I had them in the Western Conference Finals. And as I sit here today, because I think they will figure it out, those 2 guys, how to mesh together, especially because we're seeing Russ. This past month, Russ was sensational, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, they'd still be my pick for the Western Conference Finals. So is that a contender if you're one of the 4 finalists? Absolutely. I assume Vinny has him out in the first round or something. But yeah, I mean, Eric Gordon, now that he's healthy, Harden, we know what he is, even though he's been bad for a month, and Russ is getting back to being the best version of himself, getting to the basket. All of that, and then we'll see what they do with Capela plus P.J. Tucker. They have a starting 5 that can go up against anybody's in basketball.
You hear all those ifs?
I heard a lot of them.
If Nick had real hair. If James Harden played defense.
That's the only one I can
If
We got jokes.
Like, you're saying, well, if James Harden plays like he played in December and Russell Westbrook plays like he played this month, there's a reason why these 2 guys aren't playing well together at the same time. There's a reason why that Houston is trying to get rid of Clint Capela, and it's not because he's not a good fit on their team. They're trying to get under the luxury tax. You can't compete and dismantle your team at the same time.
See, why would they? I don't know if the luxury tax, I know there was a CNBC report about that. They got under the luxury tax last year. So they're not in risk of being a repeater. So the idea that they would go all in on this year's team and then somewhat meaninglessly try to get under the luxury tax for this year, that doesn't that doesn't pass the smell test to me, so to speak.
It does, because I've heard the same things that Jabari Young from CNBC heard.
And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Jabari.
No, absolutely. But you've heard the same things about the Rockets team, about Tillman Fertitta, and it puts Daryl Morey in a tough position because you have so much money allocated to Russell and James Harden for the future that if you can get out of it right now because there's no realistic way for you to contend for an NBA title, then you do it and you try to recalibrate. Like that, I'm wondering if this thing is going to blow itself up in the offseason completely as opposed to them making a run.
There's no realistic way for them to contend for a title. So you think there's 3 teams that can contend for the title. That's it.
Every year I think there's 3 teams that contend. Yes.
But this year you think it's Bucks, Lakers, Clippers. That's the list.
What besides you hoping and wishing gives you belief that the Rockets, because Golden State isn't there anymore, I don't care about that. They have not shown championship. They have not shown championship character. They have not shown championship cohesion. When you're talking about your 2 best players not playing well together at the same time, but finding a way when James Harden's not having a good month, Russell Westbrook has a great one. When Russell Westbrook is struggling, James Harden is putting together streaks of 40. Just because they played together in OKC and they like each other and they're from California doesn't mean that their games mesh well.
And we do still, it's been 50 games, and we do still have to see if they end up being able to play together simultaneously because there is some redundancy in the games. We knew that going into this season. But this idea that they haven't shown championship character, they were the only team to throw a scare into a healthy Golden State. They took them 7. No one else took them 5. And so you can say that's not enough for me. That doesn't. Then the Bucks ain't shown it neither. The Lakers ain't shown it neither. What team has championship medal according to your standard? The Raptors? Are they?
Wait. Did you just say the Lakers haven't shown it either, even though they have a guy that you say is the greatest player of all time? Nick, you can't change your argument for the sake of the discussion. LeBron is the greatest player of all time,
right? There are players on the team that have shown it, but your argument is that the Rockets have not, that they don't meet some standard of championship medal. All the teams they're competing against, either Milwaukee has never done it or the guys on the other teams have never done it together. The same issue with Houston.
Okay, here's the thing. Milwaukee didn't show, but they were up 2-0 on the eventual NBA champions before it got figured out.
The Rockets were up 3-2 on the eventual NBA champions before it got figured out.
Okay, but that's not the same team. That's not Chris Paul. That's Russell Westbrook and 2 years older with players. Okay, so with players out of crescendo as opposed to Giannis still ascending.
The only team because the Lakers have never played together prior to this year. The Clippers never played together prior to this year. The Nuggets have beaten no one of substance in a playoff series. The Jazz have never. What are we talking about? You said just because Golden State's gone. Yes. Part of this is
this ain't 2018. In 2 years, a lot of things can change. The 90s Knicks took the Bulls to the limit, and what did they do when Michael Jordan retired? They still sat their ass down somewhere, and they didn't win anything. So don't give me what happened 2 years ago.
Okay, so
I need to see it now.
All right, then just answer this question. Who is the team that has proven championship medal in the NBA right now, other than Toronto? Tell me. I'd love to hear it.
LeBron, your guy.
That's not a team. That's a player.
Wait. LeBron is a system. Everything orbits around him, and he has shown in different systems and with different players. Everything else, he can lead a team to the finals. I will give him that, even though I think that he is not the same physical force that he used to be. When has James Harden ever shown that he can lead a team to a finals? Don't give me Golden State. Sometimes you have to beat teams that are better than you if you're that season's MVP. Russell Westbrook has not been the same player that he was when he won the MVP in 2017. What have we seen besides Giannis? Absolutely right. Giannis has a lot more to prove, but he's shown that his game is ascending. Has James Harden shown you that his game is maturing?
I don't know. He averaged 36 last year. He's averaging.
Okay, you're giving me raw numbers. Don't give me raw numbers. Give me game. It's different.
Okay, so that was a whole lot of words to say I can't name a team with championship medal because by your own standard you couldn't name a single team with championship medal. That's fine.
I can tell you who doesn't have it.
Okay, yeah, well that's easy. We all can do that.
On the same page with the Rockets, just in case you were wondering. Take a break. Coming up. How about this? Who's to blame for the 49ers blowing their Super